last month, you'll know that we have a member forum and kind of an industry update every Wednesday morning at 7:30 via this link that you jumped on today. Today we wanted to still get with our normally scheduled forums, and even though everything is going on and a lot has changed in our industry, safety is still something we have to pay attention to, not just with the new protocols that have been put into place, but practices that we have to be mindful of that we've always had to practice, right? And so safety is still all around us in multiple areas. So today, we've got some great subject matter experts joining us today. Today would be our normally regularly scheduled safety forum, and we've brought in Lori Warner and her team with Esther and Neely to talk to us about locates and kind of what they're dealing with, some processes that we can go through and resources on how to mitigate the issues with underground locating when it comes to digging, so you're not hitting utilities and really causing a big ripple effect right within the local zoning area that you hit that in. You know, I got to talking to Lori a little bit yesterday about today's meeting, and it's interesting just how one thing happens out there when you tap in or you hit a utility that will affect, especially today with everything we're dealing with the pandemic, will really affect things. And so I'll let Lori really jump into that and her team. But I just wanted to say good morning. I wanted to say thank you for joining us. And if you see down below, there is a chat button on your Zoom account. And so we want to make sure that we get some of your questions answered. So please participate in that chat. We will put together a communication after this meeting and send it to everybody in attendance for your reference later, basically a minute. We're not requiring you to watch the video or anything like that. It is recorded, but we'll break it down as far as the hot topics, any type of links or information sharing that needs to go in there, we'll put in there. So thank you all for joining us. I have you all on mute, so please make sure that background noise, if you're going to be talking, we can unmute you, you can unmute yourself, but we've got you all on mute right now. Normally, the way this meeting would run is we would do near misses. We'd say good morning to everybody and we'd do a near miss. And so we would bring up what we've seen since the last meeting on being able to identify safety hazards that prevented a possible catastrophe, right, within the workplace. And so we have some new norms now, you know, and so normally we get into that. We're going to hold off on that session this morning, as we do have a lot of information that we can probably get from Lori and her team. I do want to give IECRM CEO Marilyn Stansberry a moment to address the group. So Marilyn, if you'd like to say a few words.
Awesome. Thank you, Paul, and thanks everyone for being on the call this morning. I do recognize a few people, excuse me, my voice is not awake yet, that have been on the member forums. And for those of you that haven't joined, please plan to make us part of your Wednesday morning, at least for the time being. We have been able to share a lot of great information and resources every Wednesday as the COVID-19 situation continues to evolve. What we most importantly want to do is share information that's valuable and relevant to you as situations have evolved week by week. So I just want to thank you all for being engaged and for spending this hour with us on Wednesday mornings. And I have to jump off at 8 o'clock for another call today, but I'm really looking forward to hearing more about how the 811 system is also impacted from a safety standpoint and in other ways. So with that, I'll turn it over to Paul or to Lori. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Marilyn. I appreciate that. And I'm just going to segue it and just say good morning to Lori. Thank you for joining us and bringing your team in to talk about today's subject of, right, what are the utilities and the locates and kind of some of the things you're dealing with when it comes to all of this. Maybe share some resources or great contacts that we can jump into after the meeting if we have any questions. So Lori, unless anybody has any quick questions, let's go ahead and get the forum started and pass it over to you, Lori.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for the invitation to be here today. Oh, my voice is not awake yet either. It's a Wednesday morning thing. Although I thought I had been talking a lot already this morning, I guess not. So we're really excited well, I don't know if excited is the right term with the situation that we're all in. We're happy to be a part of your meeting today and be able to share some of our changes as a result of COVID-19, but also, just how to continue to keep you all safe, keep our infrastructure safe. My role at Xcel Energy is public safety coordinator. And what that means is just educating everyone about utility safety, whether it be underground gas and electric lines, overhead lines, calling 811 before any digging occurs. So with that being said, what we're going to do is start with Neely Duran, who's from Colorado 811, and she's going to talk about 811 and some of the changes that have happened at 811, some of the impact with COVID-19. She'll share, hopefully Neely can share her screen here. Good morning, Neely.
Hi, good morning.
And then we'll turn it over to Esther Williams, who is also with Xcel Energy. She's the Senior Operations Manager for Damage Prevention. And then we'll loop back around to me, and I'll show you some of the resources that we have available to continue with safety messages, even when you're not having these meetings. We've got a lot of resources available for you to do safety, tailgates, different things that are available to you. So I'm going to go ahead and mute and get myself back off the camera and turn it over to Neely.
I'm going to also take myself off the camera, I think, because it's going to distract me, but I'm going to start sharing my screen. Let's start with, I'm going to start with the website. So currently, it's been a kind of a push to guide people to our website to submit locate requests online if they can. The newest platform is called iDig, and this is our homepage. So you can see it here or up on top. It's basically for address only. So if you're working at an address, this is the fastest and easiest way to request a locate online. But what I wanted to touch on that we're really trying to push for people that do call in a lot of locate requests is web ticket entry. So under online services, web ticket entry does require about a 2-hour training, but it's worth it. I mean, the people that use this platform say they will never call in a ticket again. Unfortunately, damages and emergencies will always need to be called in, but if you or anyone on your team or company is interested in becoming a web ticket entry user, again, it requires a little bit of a training, but this is at your disposal 24/7. So you can submit, any type of ticket besides damages and emergencies, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you basically become the 811 agent. You map out your dig location, your proposed dig site. You write your locate description. You do everything, and it's pretty neat because, again, I feel like it's free. It's available for you whenever you want. You don't have to deal with hold times. Currently, our 811 operations, our headquarters in Golden, the office is closed, but we've remained 100% functional. We're operating at 100% with all of the agents telecommuting. So they are taking calls in their homes, but we've stayed open the whole time, and we will during this time. But it is always fastest if you're able to submit your tickets online. All of the information, again, is on the website for training. We can come to you virtually and give you that training. But I just wanted to make you guys aware that this is an option, and we're definitely trying to push towards web ticket entry. just because, again, even though the agents are there and operating 100%, there's still VPN connections, and it's still taking a little bit longer sometimes. Currently, about 60% of our ticket volume is submitted in an online format. So either web ticket entry, or if I'm, again, requesting a locate through iDig. So again, it's just an option. I just want to put it out there and let you guys be aware. And with that as well, just a kind of a plug for the 811 app. If you do have an Apple phone or smartphone, it's not in the on the Androids yet, but if you have an Apple phone, Colorado 811 has a free app, and you can do all of the online services through your phone as well. So if you want to do iDig, web ticket entry, checking positive response, that's a big one. Just to be able to check positive response in the field right before any excavation happens. If you need to update a ticket, all that can be done from your Apple phone as well. So I just wanted to let you know, if you don't have the phone app, look into that as well.
Would it be possible for you to copy your link and put it in our chat box so that we can share that amongst our minutes?
Sure. Do you want just the 811 website, or do you want the web ticket entry homepage, or what would be most beneficial?
Yeah. That I think that right there would be fine.
Yep.
And then I can go in there and I can navigate and place some different ones in there.
You got it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I'll copy and paste that. And I don't see the chat thing right now because I'm sharing my screen and it's not showing up. But I will add that into the chat in a moment.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem. So another thing I wanted to touch on, if you're not already aware, we've got the Tier 2 conversion, which is, well, the deadline is approaching, but it's been something that we've been working through since the Senate bill became law in August of 2018. One of the biggest changes is the conversion to a true one call. So we're transitioning all of our Tier 2 members to Tier 1. Many have converted already, but we still have a lot to get through. The deadline, I'm going to go through this real quick here just to highlight some of these changes. But, you know, a little bit of background. When the law initially was written decades ago, it said, you know, if you're an owner operator of an underground buried utility, you have to be a member with 811. But we'll give you the option. Do you want to be a Tier 1 member and be notified from 811 directly? We currently charge $1.49 every time we transmit a ticket or communication. Or do you want to be a Tier 2 member? That means you don't hear anything from 811. You just give us your information. You provide your maps, your grids, but you want that call to come directly from the excavator or contractor or homeowner or engineer. So the plan was, we assumed that most would be Tier 1, and many did go that route. But a few bigger players decided to go the Tier 2 member route, which again kind of makes us feel like a backward system when we have an excavator making the one call and then hanging up and having to call 3 or 4 other utility owners. So that was backwards, kind of a broken system. So now we are transitioning to a true one call. And the deadline is January 1st, 2021. So less than a year, the remaining Tier 2 members have to convert to Tier 1. So we're not offering Tier 2 membership anymore. We don't even mention it. If a brand new utility owner comes to us and says, hey, I need to get into your system, it's Tier 1 or nothing. But it's still, you know, business as usual. If you're seeing Tier 2 members on your tickets, it means they haven't converted yet, and you still need to make that call. But this is great news for contractors and excavators, people that are making these one calls. This is going to be a big time saver. So again, the deadline, less than a year away. And we're kind of sending the tickets right now as an FYI, or kind of like CCing them on tickets now, just so that they know what to expect when they do convert. So they are getting the notifications kind of in the background right now. But if they do convert, you know, we're not charging them until 2021. That $1.49 ticket transmission fee they won't see until 2021, no matter what. So our member services department is dealing with all of that paperwork and conversion. So they're really busy. That's a team that's grown a lot in the last 2 years. I think that's all I have for one call transition. And does anyone have any questions so far? Okay, and then the last thing I just want to touch on, for us, the COVID impact to locate requests, there was a little bit of a panic, if you will, when going back to mid-March, when everyone kind of shut down, or the worry was that construction was going to come to a halt and people wouldn't be able to continue. The good news is that construction has remained essential this whole time, and will continue to be, but we did have a little bit of panic in the beginning. So what I'm showing you now this is good news. We have 2 owner operators, a water sewer in Crested Butte, and water utility owner in the town of Frederick. They're partially closed right now. All the ones that have been crossed out have reopened. So the biggest scare was we had a complete closure from Adams County. They said, we're completely closing, we're not answering the phone. And then we basically reiterated that you can't close in the sense of ignore your locate request tickets. So they were just locating emergencies and damages only. They've reopened. So this is a sheet that our member services has been managing. They were closed for just, a week or 2. They're reopened. I mean, everyone that's crossed off is reopened. We have 2 facility owners in Gunnison and Weld County that remain partially open. That means they might not be at full staff. There might not be anyone in their office. They might just be doing emergency and damages on site. But we're keeping track of this and letting them know that they still have to respond. They still have to post a positive response if they receive a locate request. It didn't change. The law didn't change when this epidemic hit. They still had to respond. But I just wanted to let you guys know that the closures are very few and far between for the whole state. And, if anything, our dig tickets are up. Previously during dig season, which is typically like April to October, our contact center would process about 2,000 tickets a day for the whole state. Just this past Monday, 2 days ago, we killed that record. Over 5,000 ticket requests were processed. So
Wow.
It's a record to date for us. 5,200 tickets, and that could be anything. It's not necessarily like a brand new dig ticket. It could be a renotification, a canceled ticket, an engineering request. It could be anything. But
Was there a drop in tickets the month prior?
Initially, I don't really, maybe right at the start of mid-March, there might have been a little hesitation where people just kind of stopped what they were doing for a day or 2 until we got more information. But honestly, with the governor saying that construction is essential, many companies are working maybe half staff, or it's up and down, but our tickets show that nothing has really come to a halt. If anything, we just 5,200 tickets in one day processed is like twice the amount that would be normal during dig season. So again, it's great news that this industry has remained essential and tries to continue the best that they can. I think, I don't want to say like the worst is over, but we've got to grasp again on, communicating which utility owners are partially closed. We're not seeing a lot of new people added to this list. I feel like that initial panic is kind of over, but I also feel that, I'm gonna stop sharing because I don't have anything else here. I also feel that, some of these tickets might be homeowners. I feel like just walking around the block, I've seen more people replacing fences and, starting decks and patios and the warm weather. There's a lot of homeowner activity too, and they have all the same rules as professional excavators and contractors. It's the same ticket, it's the same process, it's the same law. So maybe some of that increase could be just from homeowners doing like home improvement in their yard. The law says, there's no minimum depth requirement that you need to reach before making that one call. So if you're putting a shovel in the ground, if you're moving dirt, if you're disturbing the earth, you have to have that one call ticket, and it's good for 30 days. So if the weather stays nice, and the project takes a couple weeks, as long as they can see that those marks, that paint, the flags, they're good for about a month on that ticket. So some of that increase could be there. I mean, normally homeowners are just a sliver of our total ticket submissions. It's really almost all professional excavators, contractors, but that could be part of the increase, is just people being at home and now's a good
play in
time
the dirt. Yeah.
Yeah, plant that tree or put in the garden or whatever. So
That's it.
yeah. Other than that, that's it from 811. Again, we're fully operational, 100%. Everyone's in their home operating remotely, but again, if you're able to submit those tickets online and avoid hold times or any glitches that people might be having, taking these calls in their home, I would suggest going that route if you can.
Yeah, and so in closing, you're not anticipating any delays really right now. You think that's going along as normal for the most part, right? The new normal. So it's around 3 days, right, to request and receive a confirmation and a schedule.
Yes, the locate by date is 2 full business days, not including the day of the call. So if you submit that request at 7 a.m. on Monday when we open, the locators or facility owners have until midnight on Wednesday to respond. So it's a 2-part, they've got a post-positive response and they have to physically go out and mark if necessary. We are in the background, just so you guys know, since January, we have a positive response re-notification that's going out on behalf of excavators that did not receive a positive response by the due date. So if any facility owner misses that deadline, 811 automatically pushes another ticket to them the next morning and every day until they respond. And we charge them every day until they respond. So that's going on in the background, and you don't see that. It doesn't come to, the inbox of the requester or anything. It's just something going on in the background. But hopefully that will, keep facility owners and locators, on top of the deadline. And it's just a reminder, if they miss it, they're going to have another ticket, in their bucket the next morning. So I don't know if it's working or not yet. It's been just a couple of months, but that is going on in the background. Positive response re-notification is what it's called. So that will also hopefully increase response times. And the excavator can always re-notify as well if they need to, but just know that that's going on auto push kind of in the background on behalf of the contractor or excavator.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. And I'll put that web
bet.
ticket entry link in the chat now too.
Okay, appreciate that. Does anybody have any questions for Neely? We're going to jump back over. I believe Lori, right? You're going to take it from here. But any questions for Neely? Nope. Going once. Going twice. Thank you, Neely, once again, Lori.
Well, and we're still open to questions, even if something comes up in the next presentation or when I'm talking, So even though you said going once, going twice, Paul, she can still.
Yeah, you all can get into it whenever you want.
We can follow up with any answers as the time allows. So with that, I'm going to now turn it over to Esther Williams. As I mentioned earlier, she's with Xcel Energy, and she is the Senior Operations Manager for our damage prevention. Esther.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm hoping that you can see me okay here. Good morning. My name is Esther Williams. I'm the Senior Operations Manager for Damage Prevention for Xcel Energy, and I just want to go over a few things with you today. I don't know if you all know anything about our program at Xcel Energy, our damage prevention program at Xcel Energy. But I'll let you know a little bit about us. Okay, so we have 5 locate companies that work for Xcel Energy throughout the state of Colorado. We have Olemeter, which does North and South Denver. We have Stake Center that is responsible for the Northern Colorado, Western Slope, and Pueblo area. We have Vanguard, who takes care of our Northwest and Arvada area. And then we have Q3, who locates for all of our Xcel Energy contractors that work for us. And then we also have SiteWise, who manages all of our specialty locating, which includes our water. We have water that goes to our power plants. We have ditches. We have a remediation site. We have fiber, Smart Grid City up in Boulder. We have a fiber ring that goes around Colorado and all of our offices in the Denver metro area. So we do a lot more than just gas and electric. We do a lot of other facilities as well that we own. So with that, our 6 locate companies that work for us, we monitor their process every day. We monitor the tickets every day. And as Neely was explaining about the tickets coming in from the one call to our ticket management system at Xcel Energy, we manage every ticket every day. So that ensures that we won't have a late ticket. So once the ticket comes from one call, we get it into our ticket management system that goes out to our locate companies who do our locating. They have, like Neely said, 2 business days, not including the day of the call, to positively respond back to Xcel Energy's system. Once that happens, we respond back to the one call center. It's very important that if you do have a locate request, that you're checking that positive response back at the one call center, because facility owners are required to do that. So once we respond back to the one call center, we will at some point be putting pictures. We have our locate companies add pictures to every locate that they do. So once the locate is done, they'll do size and type on the ground. So you'll know what you're looking for when you're excavating. And then they take pictures of those locates and send them back to us, and we send them back to the one call center in the positive response, or we will be. Every year we do approximately 1.2 million gas and electric locates every year here in Colorado. So far this year, we are at 300,000 gas and electric locates. And as Neely was saying, we haven't seen the construction industry slow down at all. And that's good for us. That's good that we're keeping the construction industry going. You guys are keeping the construction industry going, and we're locating for you. So basically, you're our customer. The largest, well, let me back up. Most of what we see in our business recently, at least, is horizontal directional drilling. So in 2019, we saw a 300% increase in tickets for directional drilling. And a lot of that was due to the 5G technology that was going on in Colorado. So we have a big push to make sure that horizontal directional drillers are doing the right thing around our facilities. So as Neely had mentioned, the law in 2018, a new law went into effect. About some of that law is crossing over our gas lines and crossing over our electric lines. So anybody that's crossing over our facilities needs to pothole and visually watch their borehead cross over that facility. So we find that that doesn't always happen all the time. So we spend a lot of time making sure that horizontal directional drillers do the right thing. We do an annual horizontal directional drilling presentation every year. This year it was supposed to be in April this month because April is Safe Digging Month, but that didn't happen. Probably not a good idea to have, 500 people in one room at the same time. So we've put that on hold until we can get back together. Even though the push is to have online, it's still not the same as having everybody in a room and seeing everybody together. I don't know what else I can tell you other than one of the largest, the most damages that we have in Colorado are usually by water and sewer companies. And the reason why that is because water and sewer is deeper than our gas. So when they're putting in the water and sewer, a lot of times they'll cross over our gas facilities. We do a lot of push. Boy, I'm getting a little tongue-tied this morning. It's early this morning, isn't it?
It is. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I'm a little tongue-tied. So anyway, we have a process in our system to watch over all of the facilities when you're digging across our facilities. And one of the things that we are doing with our gas is wall-to-wall concrete. So let's say in downtown Denver, we have a watch and protect program that watches over all of our facilities when people are crossing our facilities. So because the worst thing that can happen is if a directional drill hits a gas facility in downtown Denver where it's wall-to-wall concrete, there's no telling where that gas is going to go. So the gas can migrate into buildings. If they're doing open cut, if you're doing open cut and you have a backhoe, the gas is going up. We know where that gas is. But when you have a directional drilling company and digging and it hits our gas, we have no idea where that goes. So we have a watch and protect program. If you're going to cross our facilities, we ask that we'll send you a notification, and the notification then you'll need to call and schedule that watch and protect so that we can be out there when you're digging across our facilities. One of the things that is vital right now with the COVID-19 is if we have an outage or if we have an event and we have an outage and people are in their houses right now, a lot of people are staying at home. If the gas is out and we have to repair that gas, then our first responders have to go to the house to relight their pilot lights. And one of the issues with that is they have to go up to the house, knock on the door, and ask to see if anybody is sick in the house. If anybody is sick in the house, then they need to go back to their truck, put on their PPE just to go into the house. Once that happens and they relight the pilot light, that PPE is done. They can't use that PPE anymore. So it's very important for us to locate our facilities accurately and for the excavator to not cut our facilities so that doesn't happen, clearly. So we've been spending a lot of time working with that. We have a team of service center reps that are out there every single day throughout the entire state. I have a list of these individuals that work for our department. I'd be happy to put that list on the chat for you so that you can distribute that to your group, okay? They are throughout the state. We also have a 24/7 number that you can call for any kind of locate issues. Our people take care of any kind of locate issues that you might have, anything that you have a question on, if you can't find something. It's very important that when we put a size and type of the facility on the ground, that you actually find that size and type of that facility when you're digging. If you don't, then you need to call back either to the one call and do a second notice on that, or you need to call our group and we'll come out there and assist you. So, oh, do you know that historically, 25 to 27% of all of Xcel Energy damages are due to people not calling at all? So just not calling. Historically, 25 to 27%. So with that, I will turn it back over to Lori, and I'm going to shut my computer here so you don't have to see this phase.
Thank you so much, Esther. I really
Thank you.
appreciate your update.
Great. Yeah, so the concern, like Esther mentioned, is obviously if there are any damages, what our crews have to go through with this COVID, because now there's the potential of them entering a house where somebody is positive with COVID-19. So, you know, we've got all these extra precautions out there for our crews, but it hasn't slowed us down with doing locates. When the requests come through, we're still following what's required. You know, Neely and Esther both mentioned that with the new law, we now have a commission, so there's enforcement here in Colorado, opportunities to pursue negligence, if you will, or to actually request hearings in front of the commission. So those are some other things that are new to the industry. I am going to turn my screen or my video off because I don't want to see myself while I'm showing you my screen, and I want to show you some of the resources that we have available online. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. I might need technical support here. I don't know why it's not taking me over.
Trying to share your screen.
Yeah, I hit share screen. Share.
There you go.
But you're seeing my Zoom?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. So now you're seeing the Xcel Energy site?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Okay, I see a little nod over there from you, Paul. You're on the side of my screen. So on our main page on xcelenergy.com, and I'm going to try to not make y'all dizzy. If you scroll to the bottom of the page, there's a lot of resources available to you on here, but the part that I'm responsible for is here in this community section, you've got public safety. If we go to this public safety site, there are a lot of resources available to you here, including we've got a translation here. So if you've got crews that are Spanish speaking and they're looking at this page, they can convert it over to Spanish. The resources that are available, we've got, you know, some key safety topics, but for you all, I wanted to just share with you some of the construction and excavation type of resources that are available. So these are the messages that I'm responsible for getting out there about staying away from overhead power lines, making sure you contact 811 before you do any digging, and that how to recognize and respond to a natural gas leak. In this Get More Information section, you'll see that there are resources available to different audiences, whether you're a customer, and that's what we call, you know, just the general public. You may have friends or family members that are part of the emergency responder community, where they may be police, fire. Anytime somebody smells natural gas, we've educated them, or our message out there is to always get away safely and then call 911. So we want to make sure that emergency responders know what to do if they're responding to a natural gas emergency, or they're responding to a down power line, anything in the utility industry that they may be responding to. This is the audience that we're going to talk about here in just a moment that you all are a part of. We also reach out to our agricultural workers. And by that, I mean like farming and some of the ranches, because we have facilities on these properties that have been there for over 100 years. And you have a lot of multi-generational farms where they're just used to seeing the pipeline markers, or they're used to seeing overhead transmission lines, and it kind of becomes invisible to them. And we know across the industry that those folks are at higher risk because they forget. They forget that, oh, I'm going to go out and till my land and I'm going to do planting with this heavy equipment. I know where the pipeline is, so I don't need to call. Well, things can shift. I mean, so we know where we put it originally. That's why we ask for locate tickets to be called in, because things can shift from just nature, from erosion, from all the things that can shift anything in our, on our planet. So it's really important to reach out and let those folks know about some of our facilities that may be on their properties, and making sure that they're being safe when working around our utilities, our facilities. Another group that we reach out to are educators. 2nd through 6th grade learn about utilities or learn about energy. So we have a lot of resources available to those folks. So again, if you've got any family members or neighbors that are teachers, especially right now with a lot of folks trying to do homeschooling, these resources are available to the general public as well. So if you've got kids that you're trying to figure out something new for them to do, there's some great resources on this educator website, and I'll show you that in a moment. Another thing that we're required to reach out to per some regulatory requirements is public officials. And with those folks, the importance there is when they're doing permitting, making sure that we're not building, they're not permitting and allowing something to be built too close to our facilities. And that, we see that a lot in Colorado with lot line to lot line builds, where we're scraping down and doing, something that was a small little single story family home that now they're scraping it and building a monstrosity that's now 3 or 4 levels high. And they don't think about that utility line that was maybe running down the alley. So now, you've got the 3rd floor balcony that's really close to a utility line. So it's really important to let public officials know some of the things that they need to be aware of. So let's go to this excavator and contractors. Every year we do a mailing, and hopefully you all received a mailing from us. We try to get that out the door in late March, early April. And the mailing includes a poster that's available to hang in your buildings, in your offices, that talks about the messages I mentioned: calling 811, staying away from electric lines, making sure you use a spotter, recognizing and responding to a natural gas leak, some of the requirements around directional drilling, like Esther mentioned. And then there's also in that mailer information for you to order free materials. So we will provide vehicle visor safety cards that talk about natural gas and electricity, and it has phone numbers available for you on there. It also will point you to this eSmart site. So I'm going to go there right now. And we always ask this little survey question just so we know who's visiting our site. But on this eSmart site, some of the resources that are available to you, we've got these tips of the trade. If we've got your email address from a previous order where you maybe requested some of the visor cards, or you requested a DVD of our safety videos, we have an email address for you. So we will send out these tips of the trade, and we do those 4 times a year. So if you're not a part of that and you want to become a part of it, you just need to give us your email address, and we'll make sure that we include you in these messages. These are also available to you. I'm just going to go show you some of the topics of our past tips. A combination tip about overhead and underground safety, using this trenchless technology, understanding what the tolerance zone is. So when we come out and do the markings, you understand where you need to dig, where the zone is where you have to do the hand digging. We then have information here about hand digging. So these are all available to you. These are great 1-pager, 2-pager resources that can be a part of your safety meetings or topics for you all to use. Also on this site, like I mentioned on the Xcel Energy site, there's translation to Spanish. So you can go into here and see both English and Spanish side by side. There's opportunities to order the materials. Like I mentioned, we've got both visor cards for general contractors, but then we also have a set of visor cards for tree workers. There we see a lot of injuries and unfortunately deaths throughout the industry, throughout the nation, where tree workers have gotten too close to power lines. So that's an audience that we want to keep safe. The other thing that's available is if you've got safety trainers that are part of your group, or you just are looking for other resources, there are training materials under that training tab I just clicked on, including training guides and PowerPoints. So there's different things that are available. There's even these quizzes that you can use if you just want to try to keep your workers engaged in the safety messages that you've been sharing. So these are just some great resources I wanted you to be aware of here on our eSmart Worker site. I want to go back to the xcelenergy.com and show you the other thing on the educator, especially those of you that might have kids at home doing schoolwork or online learning. Again, I'm trying not to move this too quick because I don't want to make you all dizzy this early in the morning. Again, that public safety. And come down to the bottom here under additional resources, get more information. And then to go to educators. So this site that we have, we've got two sites. Our energy classroom talks about how we create energy. So what happens when we at our power plants and how we get things out into the system through our substations and how we distribute electricity and natural gas. That is going through some changes, so there might be some broken links in that energy classroom, but there's still some very valuable information out there. This eSmart Kids is the one that we're responsible for in public safety. This has resources for kids, teachers, and parents. There's some videos available. One of the videos that I really like is so the videos are down here, but this video, Electrical and Natural Gas Safety World, because it's kids talking about utilities. There's some games. There's some things where kids could download a home inspection, so you can work with your kids on looking for electric hazards or natural gas hazards. Because we also encourage teachers to send this information home when they were in the classroom, sending information home for homework. We've got a parents page, and the parents page, the first thing we want to show them is the reminder about calling 811 before they dig or contacting 811. We also provide books to classrooms, and with people now, or with schools being closed and teachers doing the online learning, we will send books to homes. So if a parent decides, oh, I want to get some of these utility booklets or these safety booklets for my kids, they can order them and we'll fulfill those. It doesn't have to be a classroom or something where they're ordering 30 books at a time. So this is just another resource that I wanted to make you all aware of if you've got kids trying to stay engaged and learning at home.
Thank you. That's always a good resource.
Yeah, so these are great, and I would just encourage you to share with anyone that you know, in addition to going and looking at the excavator. If you didn't, for some reason, if you did not receive our mailer, if you would like to go onto this eSmart website and make sure that you look at that site, give us some information about your company so we can get you on the mailing list. So I know we're a little ahead of time, but if there's any questions, we would be happy to field questions from you all.
Any questions? You guys are very thorough. Thank you. A lot of resources. Really appreciate appreciate that. We definitely can be able to navigate to what some of our questions are, as well as proactive strategy on our projects. You know, so that's awesome. Thank you.
You bet. Now I can't figure out how to get back to the Zoom. So sorry, you're still seeing my screen.
I'll just go down to the bottom and hit your camera.
Yeah,
Or
there's
stop
nothing.
share. Stop share should be on the top or the bottom.
Let's
A
see,
little
is it
teeny mini
maybe,
bar.
maybe it's hiding behind everybody here. Huh? Let me scroll. Yeah, I'm not getting anything popping up. I apologize.
Oh, no worries, no worries.
Maybe my Zoom is broken. Oh, here I see something. There we go.
There we go. Thank you so much, Lori. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you to Esther and Neely for jumping in the conversation today. And I wanted to just open up real quick. I mean, just to the rest of the audience that's with us. Are there any other questions or any other updates you want to give? John, is there anything you want to update from Pinnacle?
Oh, we just have a lot of, some good resources on our website as well. So if anybody's looking for stuff, reach out to their safety consultant. And Pinnacle's also offering free safety consultation to any business in the state of Colorado. So you don't have to be a Pinnacle customer. Just call us up if you got a safety question.
Very awesome. Thank you, John. Really appreciate you. Any other questions or anything like that? And if we don't have any more, I have no problem for us to go ahead and zoom on out of this Zoom call, okay? And what we'll do is we will put together a breakdown of today's meeting and put some of the links for your reference so that you have a resource for any questions that you may have. Once again, Lori, Esther, Neely, unless you have any other updates, I want to thank you for talking with the group today. Great information, great resources. And with that, be sure to chime in to us next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, we'll be back to our member forum on updates industry-wide as far as the COVID-19 pandemic, where we sit, what are some strategic plans and best practices that we're all trying to be on top of. So if there's not anything else, I want to thank you all. Be safe out there, be careful, and make sure that you plan accordingly when it comes to excavating or anything like that.